Hello and welcome to the new video. If this is your first time here, my name is Hannah and today I want to talk to you about all the books that I have read so far for my horror bingo board. As you probably notice, I am wearing a different top to what I was wearing in the actual part of the video when I talk about the books. And this is because initially I was going to do a one long video, but then I thought it might be a little bit too long, so I decided to split it into two. In today's video, I'll be telling you about all the books that I have read so far for the easy mode of Sarah's Horror Bingo Challenge, and also all the books that I plan to read to fulfill the remaining prompts on that easy mode. Also, don't forget to check out Sarah's original video where she was announcing the challenge. That video is linked in the description box below, and also you should be seeing that in the cards. So without any further ado, let's skip to the part of the video where I will be sharing with you all the updates so far that I have for the easy part of this horror bingo challenge. Okay, let's start with the easy mode board. So I will tell you which books I've read and more or less what they were about. So let's start with the top road. We have published in 2024, and for this one I have read Simon St. James, Murder Road. And this is about a couple that go on their honeymoon and they actually get lost and they take a different turning, different slip road from the motorway, and they end up driving through the woods and something strange happens. They pick up a hitchhiker and she's covered in blood, and then eventually she dies. So they are being suspected of a murder. So they stay in this town for a little bit, and then certain things come to light, and yeah, it's kind of like a thriller. I wouldn't say it was a horror. For me, it was kind of like a thriller, suspense, but it was all right. Then I have This Is Halloween, and I have read Daisy Darker by Alice Finney for this one, and I've read that in December, and it was happening on this island, and it was her grandmother's birthday, and all the family was there. They kind of like cut off from the mainland. It's raining, there's low tide, there's no way of getting in and out of the island, and then the grandmother gets murdered. So, as you can imagine, closed room, murder mystery, Agatha Christie vibes, with a twist at the end, which I've seen this twist in some books or some movies, but it was actually, it was interesting. I enjoyed that one. Then we have Blood on the Cover, and I have The Shuddering by Anya Orborn, and this is the book that I have recently read. I absolutely loved it because it was one of those books that ticked the boxes for me. It was set in winter, it was in an isolated cabin in the mountains, and it had creatures, and yeah, it was that type of a survival horror that I absolutely enjoy. I rated that book 5 stars, by the way. Then the next prompt is Woods Wilderness, and for this I have read Ask for Andrea. You will see the author on the screen as well. I can't remember the author's name, but that was a really good thriller. A thriller with a twist. We follow 3 women. Kind of in the first half of the book, they each tell their own story, and then something happens and they kind of get together. So it was a fun read. From about 50% of that book, I was on the edge of my seat. It was intense. I love that one. Then, honoring the classics, I have read Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid for this, and it was forgettable. It was basically based on a story of Lady Macbeth, and it was kind of like a retelling. And yeah, I'm not really a classics person. I've never read Macbeth, but yeah, this was told from her point of view. But yes, it was forgettable because right now, apart from the setting, that it was in a castle and it was gloomy, it was dark, it was like those big waves, and you know, she was very conniving as well. So apart from that, I can't remember much. Then I have Ripper Read, and for this I have read The Har, And I didn't really find this book amazing. I think I only rated it 2 stars. I think I expected a little more from this book. This is happening on some isolated Scottish island, and there is this big billionaire developer who's buying out the land and wants to make this big golf course or something like this, like a resort. He wants to build the resort, and he's trying to buy out land from people, from the villagers. And this is a small village, and these people are all elderly people, ex-fishermen, and some of them they don't want to sell. They want to live out their days on this island in their homes, and they don't want to sell. So a lot is happening, a lot of threatening and sometimes force being used. But one day this fog comes over the island, and in this fog, this woman, Muriel, she finds something that kind of helps her. So it's, being in an isolated setting and the fog and everything, I thought it's going to be a little bit more creepy, but I think I only ended up giving it 2 stars. Then we have title has a spooky word, and for this I have read Paul Tremblay's The Disappearance at Devil's Rock, and I think it was about a group of boys, and one of them has gone missing, and I can't remember how it finished. I feel like Paul Tremblay for me is one of those authors that some books I absolutely love. Like I love The Cabin in the Woods, the cabin at the end of the world. I love that book. I rated it 5 stars. But then we had the Paul Bearers Club, which I actually didn't really enjoy, and I think I ended up DNFing this book. And this Disappearance of Devil's Rock, I think it's one of those. It was kind of like the middle of the road book, forgettable for me. So yeah, but it ticked the box. Then I have Dead Man Walking, and for this I have read 2389 by Ian Rob Wright, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And this was great. This was happening in space on this, I think it's in the future, and it's on the moon. There's some sort of a space and amusement park and whatnot, and one day everything goes dead there. There's no communication, there's nothing, no satellite signals, nothing. So there's a team that's been sent from Earth to go and investigate, and that was good. I actually love the vibes of this book, and I highly recommend it. I think I've read that one on my Kindle. And yeah, it was a fun time. Then I have genre blending, and for this I have Womb. Wow, I have actually recorded a full reading vlog reacting to this book. There's a link in the description box below, hopefully, if I don't forget to put that in. But also I will try to remember to add this to the cards. So go ahead and watch this vlog. This book was messed up, but I had the best time ever reading that. I actually recommended it to my friend, and then he read it, and then he recommended it to his mom. So yeah, if you read it, you know how inappropriate this is. But I had a great time reading that book. Then I have a 5-star read, and for this I have This Wretched Valley. It's again one of my best type of horrors, survival horror. This time there is this team of people, some rock climbers and some biologists and archaeologists and stuff like that, a bunch of people. They go into these woods in Kentucky, I want to say, because one of them discovered this new climbing like a rock face that would be fantastic for people that enjoy rock climbing. And things happen in these woods. They have a dog with them, and the dog behaves weirdly. So yeah, it was cool. It was a good book. I rated it 5 stars. Absolutely loved it. This is another book that I want to get for my shelves. I want to get a physical copy. I liked it. I loved it. Then I have Title Has a Number, and for this I have read 6 Rooms by Gemma Amor, and it wasn't great. I expected something better. And then I have Satanic Panic, and for this I have Adam Neville, The Reddening. And again, I didn't really like that book so much. It had a potential, for me at least, because of what was happening and whatnot, but I ended up not loving it. I liked it, I didn't mind it, but I think it's going to be one of those books that I have that kind of read and forget about them soon enough. And this was fun. Like, it started fun. It's happening in England as well, in Devon, and someone discovers these fissures in the rocks, and then what happens is they discover human remains in these rocks as well, in those caves. And there's also people seeing these red people attacking other tourists on the beach, and just murdering and stuff like that, and everything would imply to cannibalism. And this bit I found interesting, and I feel like it kind of got away later on, and I think I ended up rating this book 2 or 3 stars. But yeah, it was about cults and stuff like that. So yeah, if you like reading about cults and I don't know, not shamanism. I wouldn't say it was shamans, but if you like reading about cults and stuff like this, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Then I have Book Club Pig, and that is for easy and hard mode. You can use one book. And for this, I have read Hidden Pictures. It was a book club on Fable. I'm on Fable if you want to follow me. I think my name on Fable is the same as here, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I'm there. So if you want to give me a follow, if you're on Fable, feel free to do that. And for this, like I said, Book Club Pig, I have read Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak, and it was one of those TikTok sensations. And I always kind of take them with a pinch of salt, but I actually enjoyed this one. There's a lot of mixed opinions about the twist in this book, but I actually really enjoyed it. I rated it 5 stars. Then I have a pink horror, and for this I have read Paul Tremblay's Head Full of Ghosts. And yeah, again, like I said, I have a very mixed relationship with Paul Tremblay. Some stuff I like, some stuff I don't, and this was one of those that I actually didn't really love. It was about these 2 sisters, and one of them was, I think, was possessed or something like that, and the family took advantage of this and they recorded a TV show, something. It wasn't great. I didn't love this book. I think one of the girls, Lexi from Books with Lexi, I think, she loves Paul Tremblay, and I think I started reading Paul Tremblay because she recommends and she loves his writing so much. But I think the only one that I loved was The Cabin at the End of the World, and the rest of them, for me, they're kind of 2 and 3 star reads. Then we have As Seen on Big Screen, and for this I have read World War Z, and that was great. I loved it. It was different. I didn't expect it to come in this book to come in this form. I expected a novel, and it kind of wasn't. It was like a collection of interviews with people that took part and had experienced the zombie wars, and based on the interview you kind of picture and you put all the puzzle pieces together and you create the picture of the zombie wars yourself. But I actually really enjoyed that book. Absolutely loved it. I've seen a movie and I expected a movie, and it didn't provide, but it did provide something much better. I actually love that book. And then we have Out of Your Comfort Zone, and for this I have read a new release by Sonia Adram, Coup de Grace. I loved that book. That was a 5-star read. I recommend this to people. Did I talk about this book in my top horror books? I should have, because I love that book. It was such a short book. I think it was under 200 pages or 140 pages or something like this. I again lent it to my friend. So he read it, his wife read it, and they loved it. I think there's so much about this book. I feel like every single time you read it, you will find something else. And I loved what Sophia done towards the end of the book, when the reader had to choose their own ending. So you follow, if you choose this, go to this page. If you want to do this, go to this page. I loved it. It was a messed up book, but I've come to realize that I like weird books, and this one was a 5-star read. And then the last one on the easy mode is Creepy Crawlies, and for this I have read A House with Good Bombs by T. Kingfisher, and that was good. That was some weird stuff going on in that book as well, towards the end, like in the second half, and I absolutely loved it. It was like warm babies and wiggly worms and stuff like this, but it was like vultures and some sort of like voodoo, and it was good. It was a good book. But you know, I think we've all established now that I do actually love T. Kingfisher's writing, so yeah, it was a 5-star. Okay, so that's my bingo boards. As you can see, they pretty well filled out. So now I only have few spaces left on each board, and let me just kind of go through the books that I plan to read for them. Things may change because as I'm reading books, maybe certain topics will come to light, and then I will be able to use these books for my horror bingo board. But for now, the end times are near for my easy mode. So basically a dystopian apocalyptic book. I have planned The Drift by C.J. Tudor. And then we have, for translated work, I have The Doll by Yrsa Sigurdardóttir. It's a part of a series, and I don't know why I have this book. I think I picked it up on Vinted as part of the package or a bundle or something like this. But yeah, so Yrsa is an Icelandic author. This work has been translated to English. So that's the plan for the translated prompt. Then I have cover pick, and for this I have The Dead Take the A Train, and this is one of the books I have received in my Abominable Book Club box as well. I love the cover, can't wait to read that book. Then I have BIPOC author. For this I have Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. This I heard has mixed reviews, but I have it, so I'll read it. For cryptid I have The Fisherman, and this is again about I think it's something to do with like widowers. I think one man or both of them are widowers and they go fishing and there's something in the water. This is all I know. Multiple point of view. I have None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell, but I will also, like I said, this is a thriller. I have other horror books, and as I read them, I might be swapping my books. But for now, these are my plans. And then I have short story collection, and for this, I have on my bookshelves 13 Chairs, and it's basically an anthology. That's it. That's all the books I have read for my easy mode, and the plans that I made for the rest of the prompts for this mode. For now, I thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if you are also taking part in Sarah's challenge, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out the next video where I will be talking about all the books that I have read for the hard mode part of this challenge. In the meantime, if you want to go back and revisit my horror bingo TBR, you should be seeing this video on the screen right now. For now, I thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.